That one is just absolutely beautiful. I don't know what's going on here. Hold on a second. Let's remove this. See if I can get this back up fully here. There we go. I don't want that either. Oh, let's be difficult, shall we? Let's close out of this. Go back to chat so I can check in with everybody. How you guys doing tonight? Let's see. Now I'm getting all the comments. Earlier when I was on here, I wasn't getting any of them. Hi, Brandy Doo. How are you? Giovanni, good to see you. Sam, I hope you're feeling better. And I hope you're getting plenty of rest. And I had to play that amazingly beautiful, tear-jerking video you did for Ella. It's absolutely beautiful. You do amazing work. Hey, Wojo. Glad to see you guys made it back in time. John T., how are you? Let's see. Who else do we have here? Curious. Good to see you. Glad you could make it tonight. Sam, I think I'm catching up here pretty fast. Giovanni. D-Hoot's in the house. Hey, D-Hoot. Oh, good. I'm glad you're coming around. Hi, Vincent. How are you? Good to see you. About the attack in Oklahoma. I haven't heard about the attack in Oklahoma yet, so I'm going to have to look into that. I'll write that down. Attack in Oklahoma. I usually tell anybody when it comes to these type of attacks, it's usually one that's been weaned too quick and doesn't know how to hunt properly. It's an old one that's just ornery and can't hunt properly. It's kind of scary. Well, back at you. So tonight I want to go over one of my favorite topics. I love to talk about it. It's cryptozoology, because when you discuss cryptids, like this show does, there's a ton of other shows. Cryptids fall under different umbrellas. You've got, the paranormal or supernatural aspect of it. Okay, yeah, I will get with Sam. Thank you, Giovanni. Then you've got, ones that could be considered extraterrestrial or something. And then you've got ones that fall under more of a folklore thing. I like cryptozoology because that is actually just the study of hidden or unknown animals that have not been verified by science, or ones that are thought to be extinct but still being seen. They fall under that category of cryptozoology as well. And I just really enjoy that. By an unknown animal. Oh, okay. So they don't know exactly what it is. All right. Thanks, BMO. I will look into that. Yeah. I mean, thank you, Giovanni. Yeah. Hey, Miss Jessie B. So before I get into this topic, though, I have a big announcement for everybody. I am so excited. We did a girls' night a couple weeks back on Sam's show, and then we did another one just 2 weeks ago. And Sam, Jesse, and I have decided that we like these girls' nights. We like these times to be able to talk about cryptids, talk about the research we've been doing, just overall just having a good time. So next Sunday, we will be having a girls' night here on Ghost Cats and Cryptids. We're going to be discussing all types of cryptids. We're going to be discussing some of our favorite cryptid movies. So anybody who wants to join in, throw in their favorite, we can have these great discussions. The show, I will warn you, probably will go well over an hour, because when the girls and I get together, we have a lot of fun, and we usually have a lot of fun with all of you. So we are going to be doing another girls' night next Sunday. So I hope that everybody can make it. Now back on to the show here tonight. With cryptozoology, I did a talk years back for the Vogels on one of the expeditions they had. Tim had asked me if I could do a topic on, a discussion on cryptozoology, what it was, different things about it and stuff. So I did. And one of the first things that I always wanted to know, and I always get asked too, is, yeah, I know, I can't wait. We're going to be doing this. Whoop, whoop. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, curious. It's like, oh, yeah. We have a lot of fun. I really enjoy being able to hang out with Sam and Miss Jessie B. We take over the Richie B Podcast Network. Hey, Wojo, home with a boom. And we have a blast. But with cryptozoology, though, when I was doing the talk, I was like, I never really knew. And a lot of people ask, well, who actually started this whole thing? Who was it that actually coined the phrase, and how did it get going? Well, that was a lot of research in itself, because a lot of people think that it was actually, and I never say his last name right, so I am so sorry if you know him and I screw it all up. A lot of people think that Bernard Huvelsman, or Huvelsman, however you say it, was actually the one who started this whole thing in cryptozoology. He gets most of the credit for it. And so I had worked for a cryptozoologist a while ago, and I was like, you know what, I'll ask you, because I got to get this thing done. And instead of telling me, because he's into, you must research everything, he sent me a paper that explained it, but I had to read it first. And 20 pages later, it explains that it was actually Ivan T. Sanderson who was the one who came up with cryptozoology. He actually wrote 2 papers on sea serpents while he was still in college going for his degree, one in 1947 and the other one in 1988, because while he was doing stuff for zoology, and it's not him that actually did it. I got the paper on it that I got from Lauren Coleman, because he knew both men. And Ivan does not care that he doesn't get credit for it. He allows Bernard to get full credit for it, but it was actually Ivan T. Sanderson who was actually the one who coined it. And they worked together, though. They traveled all over the world, Bernard and Ivan. They went to different islands looking into things. Sometimes into the invention of the word. Yeah, they both had a big hand in it. But when I did it, and Mr. Coleman actually went over my work on the paper and stuff to make sure that I got everything right, which he did mess up one thing, and I will bring that up later on, because I have gotten, since I worked there, I research everything thoroughly. And if I don't know, I tell you straight up, I do not know. I've had people ask me questions that I have no clue on, and I'm not about to guess on the stuff. But with cryptozoology, it's the study of hidden or unknown animals. Cryptid is hidden, zoology is animals. So that's what it is. And what I like about it is it falls under my research, because where mountain lions are animals, and they are thought to be extinct in this area, they do fall under the cryptid category. But there's other ones out there too. And how it all came about was, like I said, he had written the 2 papers, but he was getting stories from fishermen talking about sea serpents and stuff. That's how he ended up doing the papers on it. And a lot of times, like with some of these discoveries of these animals and stuff, you find out that they were actually considered monsters or myths before they were recognized. And then you have to look and go, whoa. It's like the giant squid itself. A lot of times that gets put in with the Kraken stories. These things can pull a boat down. They are massive. They are huge. I don't know of any that have actually done that. Most of the time when you see them, it's because they've died and they've washed up on shore. Although the Japanese have gotten some film footage over the years of them in one of the harbors. and stuff, but their discovery was in 1865. And then you have the mountain gorillas. The tribes people around before they were discovered would hear, loud noises. They'd hear the grunts, the trees would shake. They literally, people, even people from other countries, like there was a German gentleman who actually was the one that discovered them. But they all had contributed that to, there's these monsters in there. And come to find out, it was just the mountain gorillas. And I find this whole thing fascinating because one of my favorites. Hi, Mary. How are you? Hey, Jason. Good to see you. One of my favorites, and this one isn't to say it's a story. I would say it was more a myth before, or I literally, actually, my whole thing every time I talk about this one is I would told somebody they were absolutely drunk if they told me they'd seen it. You're wasted. I'm sorry. It's the okapi, which the longest time I pronounced it wrong because it looks like it says okapi, because they have zebra legs, a donkey body, and a giraffe head. So yeah, if you told me that they were an actual animal, I would have told you were drunk and crazy, but they are absolutely gorgeous and very, very shy creatures. And let me see if I can pull up a photo of one of these cutie pies. Let's see. Number 8. All right, let's try this one here. Let's see. Can we get it up here on the film? It's taking a minute. There we go. Yeah, these things are so unique. And they're one of my favorites. And I would have told somebody they were absolutely, absolutely crazy. Yes, I actually, that's going to be like my finale is the panda, because that was one of the things that I messed up on in my talk. I thought I was right. I was told to tell the patrons about the panda and the discovery. And I realized that after I went in looking to bring that up, because I had it in my talk, but I also wanted to try to find some photos of Ruth and the panda and stuff. I found a lot of interesting information on that. And that's the thing, though, is there's so much information out there. You could be wrong. That's why I like to really, really look into stuff and see. Yeah, I mean, they're absolutely gorgeous. They're adorable little buggers. Let me remove you off here. Let's just remove. There we go. But that's the thing with cryptids. I mean, Richie did a show. He actually sent me the link a while back where he was doing one of his episodes and talking about animals that have been discovered. And one was the coelacanth. That one, was thought to be extinct for 65 million years. And then one was caught off the coast of South Africa. The gentleman took it to the fish market. What I like about this one, though, is the woman who actually discovered it was a curator for a museum. I want to say it's Marjorie Courtney Latimer. And what she had done was she had it set up with the local fishermen that she could come down and check out their catches for the day, because she was taxidermying fish to kind of decorate the museum and stuff. And she came across the coelacanth thinking, wait a minute, this isn't right. Wait, this isn't supposed to be here. So she actually purchased the fish. She had to load it up, which the fish can get up to, 4 to 5 feet in length. They're huge. A taxi, which I'm sure she had to bribe a taxi driver for that one. And when she got a hold of her colleagues in London, and she shipped it, but she had removed the insides of the fish from it. So yes, it was rediscovered on that date, but it took a second one being caught in 1952 to actually verify it. And the reason that they think that that scientists, I'm not positive on this, is what you hear when you look into it, is because these fish live in such deep depths that usually when they're up this close to the surface, it's usually, I don't know if they consider it like the end of life cycle or something, and that's why you don't see them as much. There have been more. There's a new population that was discovered in recent years. You can look into that. I've found a bunch of different stuff, but after the girls' night, I'm going to go and do an episode on newly discovered animals and go over some of the stuff that goes on with that, because a lot of times when an animal is discovered, people will be like, well, no, there was already this. There's a lot of genetics involved. So when they catch something, or if they see an animal and they think, oh, we've got, such and such in front of us, and then they do the blood work and the samples and all this stuff, they find out that sometimes the bone structure is different, the DNA components are different, and it's a different variation of that animal. So you have a new species. Okay, Jason, hope to see you soon. Her face red heart shaped. So yeah, and then like I said, you have the mountain gorillas and stuff. There was another species that was discovered, and it wasn't the mountain gorilla, it was the lowland gorillas. They ended up breaking these down. The mountain gorillas for some reason got like the big discovery issue thing. I don't know if it was because of the way it was discovered, because there was a German gentleman who actually shot two. They sent one back, and hold on, where did that one go to? Yeah, I got all the information right here. That one, no, that's Bill's, and that's that. I got so much stuff here, because I'm trying to go get everything that way there. If I have any questions, I can try to answer the best I can on certain things, because I can know so much, but give me more knowledge, my dear sister. Oh, William, thank you. Yeah, let's see. It ended up, they were later named gorillas in honor of the Florida Museum of Natural History. I think has one on display, is what it says here. Discovered in 1902, classification of the gorilla, and then it has the German gentleman's last name on it, as a distinct subspecies solidified after shortly separating from the lowland gorillas. Following their discovery, a population faced severe threats and habitat loss and poaching, leading to their classification of endangered. Yes, Billy Ape was discovered in 2009. My favorite, though, was 2017 with the Tapanuli orangutans in Sumatra. They were living in one area. It was a high elevated forest of the Botang Tora. And when one was brought in because it was severely injured, and it was due to human reasonings for that, it was tortured. But when they were doing the autopsy on it, they realized that the bone structure was completely different. So they ended up taking samples from some of the orangutans in that area. They took DNA samples from the ones in Sumatra, and even went over to Borneo and took DNA samples from those to find out that it was a brand new species. They named it the Tapanuli orangutans, and they are the newest species with the oldest lineage to all the great apes. I'm not affiliated with the one, William. Oh, that is so funny. Oh, yeah. We have to talk sometime, William. I think we definitely have some stories to swap off here and stuff. That would be great. But like I said, that will be another one, because this topic here is just fascinating to me. I absolutely love it. I love knowing more on the subjects and stuff. And I like it when, you find out these classic animals that were considered stories, myths, or monsters. I mean, you've got the Komodo dragon as well. I mean, here it is, gentleman comes back saying that he saw these dragons, these large dragons, and people kind of laughed and joked, but come to find out these things are alive and real. Let's see if I can pull these guys up, because they are massive. They grow up to 6 to 8 feet in length. So I would not want to mess with them. Their saliva has got so much bacteria in it that it rots the flesh off of most of its food source. So it helps them digest it better. And right there. This is the one I want. I believe this is the one I want. Please be the one I want. I'm still getting used to all this, but I'm doing better. And there we go. There's the big boy. Um, Yay, girls' night. Yeah, it'll be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. I have so much fun with Sam and just we have a lot of laughs. We have a great the whole chat is just fabulous. Everybody just has such a great time, and that's why I said if anybody has a cryptid, one of their favorites they want to discuss, because we're more than willing. If we don't know, we'd love to learn. That's what I like about why I agreed to do this, is because this is one of the things that I like to do. I like to be able to let people know different things. I'm not stating these are facts and you have to listen to me, but I want people to get like a knowledge of different stuff. And I love it when somebody can come back and be like, did you know this? And I don't. And then I get the story and I'm like, oh my gosh. It was because there's a lot of different things with it looks like it is a Komodo dragon. They were actually discovered in 1912. And that was another thing that in my report, because I was told that it was Bill Harkness who was the one who had discovered these, or he was part of the expedition that discovered these, and he actually wasn't. He was actually part of the expedition to bring a live one back to the U.S. That's what Mr. Harkness did, is he would go on these expeditions. He was a sportsman. He loved being out around the world looking into these things, and he loved to be able to check into these new animals that were supposed to be so elusive and see if he could actually capture one. That was his thing. And he was able to help. Let's see, who was the gentleman's name again? W. Douglas Burden was actually the gentleman who set up the expedition to try to bring back Komodo dragons, live specimens, because they wanted them to be housed in the Bronx Zoo so that people could actually see them. Well, thank you, Jason. I appreciate that. And I'm glad that you're back. Oh, you're fine, Giovanni. I'm very slow here too. I have you don't understand my brain. It's like there's so much going on and I want to spit everything out at once, and I'm trying to break it down and slow it down, but I get overly excited with all of this stuff. Oh, thank you. My brothers, my sisters, my aunties, my uncles. Well, that's great. I love the fact this is one big family, and I am so thankful that I was asked to be a part of this family. I'm thankful to the Vogels who actually introduced me to Richie, told me that I should get together with Richie and talk to him. And Richie is I have to say, he is a great support system. I literally tonight, I was watching the podcast and then I hear him saying, I just want to get on there and go, oh my God. Because he was like, he talks about how he loves my research methods and stuff. And it's like, to me, that's incredible because Richie does amazing research. Him and Wojo do amazing research. Sam is an amazing executive producer. Her show is wonderful. She has got the best personality. She can make amazing videos. And I just feel lucky to be in this family. And then I have all of you guys in chat, Kurt and Giovanni and Jason and William and Mary and Curious, and the list goes at it goes on and on. I can't list everybody, but I'm so thankful to Brandy. Yay! I'm so thankful to actually just be a part of this banter family. It's insane. All right, now we'll get the mushy stuff over because she's in crow. I almost cried enough with Ella here. It was the first night where I just teared up, but the other nights I was bawling. And it was bad. So they ended up bringing back what was it? Let's see. They returned with 5 specimens alive and then 12 preserved ones. So I'm assuming that those ones are the ones they killed, which is sad because that's what I find very disheartening with science is for some reason they always have to have a body. They always have to, kind of dissect stuff. And David Lester and me. Weird. Well, oh, that would be great. I would love that. And it's just science bugs me sometimes. There was a article probably 4 or 5 years ago out, and I absolutely laughed so hard because, like I said, they're talking about bringing these Komodos back specimens and stuff, and because people didn't believe them, and even though they are an actual animal. So they wanted to bring them back. They wanted to house them. They wanted to lock them up. They're on display, whatever. But a new spider was actually discovered somewhere over in, I want to say it was in Asia. It was over that way. And gentleman, the scientist who discovered it, what did he do? He documents it, takes photos, scoops up the specimen, sticks it in a jar, gets on the plane and flies back to London. And he got arrested in customs for transporting an illegal animal because he didn't have the paperwork for it, which I thought was great, because you just can't scoop something up and take it away just because, you want a specimen to show people that you're right. That's why you document. And I'm adamant about that. And that's what I love about what Richie's doing. I mean, yes, I do look at the DNA aspect like he does. I have sent samples in to be tested. I've been lucky enough to do that. Oh, hey, there's the big man right there, big boss man. And I'm actually, I haven't made a big announcement yet. I was talking with the Vogels the other day, but I've decided that with my eDNA, I'm going to expand from not just airborne, because I think that is, it's good to be able to do, but I want to be able to do the soil. So if I come across tracks, I have a way to actually, with tracks, you'll have the DNA in it. They can pull up DNA from the soil samples. So that's what I'm planning on doing, is expanding that. So we'll see if that works. But anyways, let's back to this. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we are going to go on to what Giovanni wanted to talk about, which is the giant panda. Because the giant panda, like I said, when I did my talk on this, and I can tell you this by heart because I thought that this was fabulous, and it still is true to a point. It's just the timeline of discovery is off, and there's a reason for that. Same here. Yeah, it's there's so much within the New England states cryptid wise, Jason. It's insane. Richie got some amazing stuff today. And what I loved with Richie's stuff is, he's questioning it. And then you have a bunch of us jumping on and trying to find different stuff. It's like I tried looking to see maybe if those were beaver teeth, because thankfully I've got a collection of skulls back here, and I could try to see if I could match anything up. And that's what it's about. I'm not saying that that's what it was, but we try to rule out, other things that go on. And this, I just love researching with you guys. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So back onto the giant panda. Okay. Now I was, when I did my thing, I had it that the giant panda was first discovered in 1936, because that's what, it comes up, I was told. I went over everything. I looked into stuff. Well, it wasn't 1936. It was actually March 11th, 1869. But these animals are so elusive that it wasn't until 1936 when the first panda was brought back to the U.S. by Ruth Hartness. It was actually her husband in 1934, Bill, who was one of the gentlemen who, he helped with the Komodo dragon transports back to the U.S. Oh, happy Sunday to you too, Brandy. And what I liked about it was he had gone to China to try to bring back one of these pandas because they were so elusive. He wanted to bring one back to the United States to show scientists and stuff that they were there, even though they knew it, because like I said, their discovery by Western science was in 1869. While he was in China, he was there for a while. He ended up dying of lung cancer. Now, his wife, Ruth Harkness, was a New York socialite. She was a fashion designer. Not getting dirty wasn't her thing. Nope, don't want to do it. Well, when he passed away, she did fly to China for his funeral and to bring him home. But she decided when this went down that she was going to fulfill this one last thing that he wanted to do. So she set up and arranged for a guide, for all for helpers, stuff like that. And she actually, after planning this for several months, she flew to China. She spent 2.5 months between the China and Tibetan border in the wilderness. And on November 9th, they actually captured a 9-week-old panda cub. And she brought the panda cub home, wrapped in a blanket, on her lap, on a plane. And she did hand it over to scientists so that they could check it out and do the stuff that they wanted. There we go. Yes, Guinness Book of World Records. We need that. We need to be in there. Let me see if I can pull up. Panda is images. I think I'm getting too used to this because I'm just like too laid back right now. It's like, oh yeah, we got this. All right, let's see. Is this the one? We're going to find out in a second. Yep, that's when she arrived with, she named her Lisun. I think it's Lisun. I got so much stuff on this because I was trying to remember the panda's name. No, that's not the one. But she also made it because she went back and got another one a year later to give this one a companion. Right there. Sulin. This is the newspaper article there that I had gotten it on. But yeah, is what she did. There was no zoo to take this panda, though, so it ended up living with her in her apartment for a month before the Bronx Zoo ended up buying it and having Sue Lynn stay there. And a year later, she went to get a friend for Sue Lynn, and she came back with another panda. And by that time, Sue Lynn had passed. She didn't make it past a year in the zoo. She is actually taxidermied and on display in the Natural History Museum in Chicago, along with the 2 lions of Tsavo, which I think is pretty cool. So I'm going to have to make a trip to Chicago because I want to see these animals. Yes, Roosevelt scene. That's what right there too is Roosevelt's sons actually went in search. They actually killed one. They actually killed a couple, but they killed one, and I think that they were, or was it 2? Because they ended up, I don't know if they brought the body back of one and just the pelt back of the other one. But yeah, they didn't help in the discovery of it. They knew of it, but it was so elusive, and they got the stories from their father. And they did go though. There's actually a book on that because I did find that out too. Because I just thought that was yeah. But yeah, it's I thought that it was a sweet story that she finished her husband's work, but I also found it a tragic story that she ripped a 9-week-old panda bear cub away from its mama, and then a year later it died. But I looked into the whole thing with because the World Wildlife Federation has a great website too. And I got a ton of information off theirs. And it's a timeline one, which I thought was kind of cool. If I can figure out what I just did with it, because I just had it in my hand a second ago. And I just lost it right there. The history of the giant panda. So let's hear about the history of the giant panda. So on March 11th, 1869, hunters bring a panda skin to the French something. I do not know how to say that. Armand David. So he was something French. And then April 13th, 1929, the Roosevelt brothers began their first became the first foreigners to shoot a panda. In 1936, Ruth Harkness captures an infant panda and takes it to the U.S., invoking universal sympathy for the plight of the panda and creating the panda cult, is what they call it. In 1936 to 1946, 14 pandas were taken from China by foreigners. In 1946, China closes all doors to panda exploitation by foreigners. In 1957 to 1983, a total of 24 pandas were given to foreign countries as goodwill gestures. In the early 60s, the first four panda reserves were established, and nature decree issued prohibiting the hunting of this list of animals, including the panda. So, I mean, because of the fact they were so elusive, and having people go out just to hunt them for their pelts, and then having what Ruth did with bringing one back, which, I mean, I can see to a point, but back then, I think a lot of stuff was a lot easier to do. But David skinned and shipped the pelt to Paris to identify. Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. That it says that's to give that date as the date that they were actually discovered was 1869. So, and if you look it up, that's what I ended up doing this time around, was I looked it up, and it did say that March 11th, 1896, which, like I said, I thought it was 1936, the way it was done, but that was the first live one was brought back to the U.S. And that's the thing. I don't know, bringing animals back and having them locked up. Yeah. TKB. I know, and I'm glad, because this is what I like, is we get more information, because I've only got so much, and what I'm getting is it's not 1936, it's March 11th, 1869, and I'm getting it from several different things. But with that being said, though, is people were traveling to China to look for these things and to hunt them and stuff, and that's what gets, yeah. I love the videos of them, like in the snow, rolling like a ball down the hill. They just keep going and going. And then there's a couple of them where you see like the people in taking care of them, and the panda just keeps coming over and, grabbing a hold of the person trying to clean up and stuff, because they want to play. They're adorable. They were my son's grandmother's favorite. And they are actually the animal logo for the World Wildlife Federation. But yeah, so there's so much that goes on with this stuff, and just so many different discoveries and different animals that, I mean, come on, the platypus. I mean, that's another one, absolutely insane, crazy. And it's like, but yeah, they exist. And so why is it so hard for people when, somebody says something about Bigfoot, and then you get this, well, they're supposed to be this big and they can't be that. We don't know. There's a lot of stuff that we don't know. And there's still a lot of animals that are being discovered. And there's a bunch that were thought to be extinct that are being rediscovered. Yeah, I bet. Hey, Tyler, I'm so glad you got a chance to stop in. And that's what I like about this, is because you can't be closed-minded. You have to, to think, what are the possibilities? And that's what we do with the research is, we don't say, oh, it's just this. We go, okay, we we think it could be this, but what else could it be? Or what, possibly could have done this? You have to just keep asking the questions and asking the questions. And a lot of times, there's something new. And sometimes, like with the coelacanth, 65 million years, that was thought to be extinct. But, okay, those 2 specimens were caught. And if she hadn't been there, would it have been known? Because these things had, probably have been caught several times and stuff, and by the local fishermen. But it was just somebody there at the right time, and it was the right place, right time to make the discovery. Oh yeah, you could do a lot of stuff in the 1960s. There was a lot of weird pets and stuff that you could get. A friend of mine, when I grew up, and I grew up in the 70s, my dad worked for a company when I was 6. We had to go out onto one of the islands out to Vinyl Haven because he was working on a house out there, and his boss had a chimp that we used to play with. Yeah, there was like a lot of weird stuff. My grandmother, God rest her soul, I did not know, actually had a pet skunk that she used to have, and it lived in the house. Didn't have any issues with it, but, and I'm sorry, skunks are freaking adorable. They're stinky, but they're adorable. And that's one of the things too, when I do the new things, there was a new species of skunk that was discovered, and you guys can look it up ahead if you want, but the thing does handstands, and it's adorable. It's absolutely adorable. I read that too. Yeah, you could. And the thing is, though, is like when I sat down for the research that I'm doing now with my state biologist in 2023, the U.S. government signed a bill called the Big Cat Law, which it banned all big cat sales in the U.S. And there were people arrested in Texas, I believe, I believe it was in Texas, because they were selling, I can't remember what it was. I want to say jaguars, but I don't know if that's even what it was. But they were a big cat, and they weren't supposed to have them, but they were selling them, the kittens and stuff. And when I sat down with my state biologist, I said, well, how many people actually have these big cats as pets in this state? He said 4. And I was like, okay. And I said, so I could get one? And he's like, yeah, you can. He goes, as long as you fill out the paperwork, you have the proper housing for it, and it gets, because it does, they do send people, you do have to have vet care for these animals. He said you could have one. And I said, how is that even possible? Because just a year and a half ago, they banned all this stuff. And nope, I can still, if I want to go and get the paperwork, if I want to pay the money, I can have my own big cat. And I just don't see how that's possible. But all states are different. I guess that's the way it works. I know it's a federal law, but as long as you follow the guidelines of the state and stuff, and you keep, if you follow the guidelines and the rules and stuff to certain things. I've seen 2 creatures in my life that I can't identify. One made the local papers, seen by a few others. Oh, well, that's interesting. Right now where I live, it is 6:47 at night. In the evening, I should say, not at night. It's in the evening, but... Hey, Andy, how are you? Second one, you have no clue. That's where the first one was pig-like, but definitely not a pig. I don't know what that would be. I've seen some weird stuff, but I'm assuming that what I saw, because I saw what I swear to God would have, what they describe as a chupacabra now, but I think it was a coyote with mange, but it just a blur. I will say that the biologist was right, though. Your eyes can play tricks on you. They can make things look different than what they are. If it's a fast, just a fast sighting, or things can look bigger than they are, whatever. It's hard to say sometimes, but it's not true for all sightings. I mean, yes, your eyes can be deceiving. It can play tricks on you there, but that's when you start questioning things. Well, what else could it be? What could look like this, different stuff. I mean, you just got to keep going. Oh, your PC crashed. Sorry, TKB. You just bought a pack of Reese's from the vending machine. I just had to rub it. Well, you are just mean, Tyler. That is just mean. But yeah, so that I just wanted to kind of cover this because I really enjoy this topic. I enjoy the classic animals of discovery, but I also really, really like all the different things that are now being found, plus the stuff that they thought was extinct that isn't. I mean, when I did my talk, there was it'd been since the 1800s that this brown wood snake had been seen, and in 2019 it was rediscovered. There was a Galapagos tortoise that was thought to be extinct for 100 years. That was rediscovered. I mean, there's just so much. There was rediscoveries in a temple. I can't remember where the heck that temple was though, of a spider. There was some type of beetle and something else. It was like 3 things all discovered by scientists when they ended up going into this temple. And I can't remember what it was. Wondering for years, may never get the answers. Yeah, sometimes you don't get the answers, and it's bad. Hey, lady on the screen. I'm well. Aw. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you too. I try to share interesting topics. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes I just babble because you know me, Sam. I like to talk a lot. But I do. I like because and this is great because people have been, we keep going back and forth with different stuff. And it's nice because, like I said, I still am continuing to learn different things about this. And that's what I like about being part of this family is we all tell you straight up we are not experts. There's some of us that are more knowledgeable on things. There's some of us that are knowledgeable, but maybe not as knowledgeable as we think, and somebody else can come in and be like, oh my gosh, thank you. Cause that helps out a lot. Oh no, we always learn. Yeah. I don't know about that, Sam, but I appreciate it. You are so freaking sweet. Tyler makes me hungry. All I can eat is soup. Oh, just sorry, Giovanni. That's awful. Tyler. Tyler and his candy bar. But yeah, so just a reminder, if nobody else has anything else they want to discuss. Oh, but at some point we are going to, well, we could actually do this. We don't have to get done right yet. We can do this because this is one of my favorites too. And this is one that we will discuss next time. And that is the thylacines, because I absolutely love these things. They are phenomenal. They are a work of art. And let me see. And this part right here really is just cool and creepy all at the same time. If I can pull it up. What do I do with my little lettering thing here? Number 1. Now, which one is it? I think it's this one. This is the one I'm talking about. Yeah, they are extremely cool. They look like they're canine. They are a marsupial. And they have the ability to unhinge their jaw like a snake. See that? Isn't that cool? That is just cool and creepy all at the same time. This one has got a weird coloration, though, so I don't know if this is like AI or something, which would really tick me off. The last known one was died in 1936 in captivity. His name was Benjamin. He was left out of his enclosure overnight. He froze to death, which is sad. But what I think is cool about these is that tail is so strong they can actually stand on their hind legs if they want to for a little bit. But both the males and females of that species had pouches. So the males could carry pups too, which I thought was really, really cool. You got 3 minutes left on your break. It is. That is one of the biggest documented, and I absolutely love talking to thylacine and Benno. I really need to get Benno to discuss it more with me because he is right there for all this stuff. And I met a gentleman at the place I worked at who was a Yowie researcher, and we were discussing that. And then we started to discuss the thylacines. Yeah, well, actually, yeah, there's a BML that's actually really a good point there on that because I've actually read some stuff too on the chupacabra, and yeah, a lot of the stories I do think come from this animal itself. But the funny thing is this is Australia, and the chupacabra stories actually started nowhere's near that. So. I know that they're in, there's stuff in Mexico, but Puerto Rico is where they actually started from and stuff. And, but the Yowie researcher there, we were discussing the thylacine, and it was really cool because, get to talk to somebody with their Australian accent. And he was like, yeah, he said most of the time when there's sightings of these, the rangers there will tell people that it was a dingo or a stray dog or something. He goes, but the last one that they had, the guy couldn't argue with himself because he was the park ranger and he had the sighting. But yeah, this will be one that we discuss at some point because these guys, I am so fascinated by. They are incredible. And it's just a very, very sad fact that they're gone due to, human neglect. Let's see what else. Okay, image. Let's see if I can find another one of them because I got a couple. Is it still up there? Yeah, let's see. What do we got here? What's this one? There we go. Yeah, right there in captivity. They're just so cool. I mean, they look canine and they're marsupials. And then they look like they're part dog, but they look like they're part tiger. I mean, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Yeah, dingoes, yes. Bye, Tyler. Good luck at work. But yeah, they're absolutely fascinating and marvelous creatures. So we will definitely be having a discussion on these guys and most likely some others as well, because you know me, I love to talk and love this stuff. So we will get so much more in, just not next week, because next week is a girls' night, and we will be talking lots of cryptid stuff. So this one could actually pop into the conversation. It's that could happen very, very, very easily. That's for sure. But anybody that's going to be on, I hope everybody can make it. Please, any cryptids you want to talk about, toss them into the chat. We can discuss it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, it makes me mad too. That it's all human error on that. Because they actually, where is it? The thylacine. Do I have wrong? Oh, that's mountain gorillas. All right, I can't figure out what I did with it. I've got, like I said, this place is just a big old mess. I've got so much stuff here. No, I can't find it. I will go over it, though. I do have paperwork on it for the thylacine because it actually states when the last one died in I think it was London, too. Yes, it's going to be fun. My auntie always said, oh, no, a dingo ate my... Yeah. Sam. Oh, you can't see Sam? Oh, that's weird. Because, yeah, Sam's Been right here the whole time. Andy can't see you, Sam. Oh, you can't. Oh, okay, except for Sam. Okay, yeah, that's weird. I don't know what that is all about. Yes, yeah, that would be fun. Because as it was, I recall you saying, Sam, that we all need a proper, Italian lesson, a lesson in speaking proper Italian. So that would be fun. Oh, she goes back and forth. Others aren't. Yeah, that's the thing is this show's linked into Sam's, it's linked into Richie's, YouTube, Facebook, and different stuff. So I get the comments from all over. Hey, Rachel Adventures. So in closing, Tuesday night, make sure you check out Home of the Boom with Wojo. I'm not sure this week if he's got a guest or not. I don't know what they have planned. Friday night, we have Sam and Sam After Dark. This week, she did an amazing job with the yoga murder little whodunit thing, which was great. And you never know what she's going to do. I mean, she's got so much going on. She's gone over her research. She does spooky stories. She does, crime stuff. She does amazing. And then Saturday night is our flagship show with the big boss man, Mr. Richie B. And then again, next Sunday, like I said, I'll be here. Sam will be here with me, and so will Jess, because we are going to have a girls' night, cryptids, cryptid movies. Feel free to join in because we would absolutely love it. And just remember, with all of this stuff, we're still learning. And with research, sometimes you just have to say, what the hell? Good night, guys. Bye. Why is it not ending? Maybe I'll end it. I don't know. Oh my God. Is it off? No. Stop.